Please give a warm welcome to Mike Grudzien.
Aw, shucks. Well, I found something to start this with. And this is the only time I'm reading from my phone, but I got notes. And years ago, anthropologist Margaret Mead was asked by a student what she considered to be the first sign of civilization in a culture. The student expected Mead to talk about fish hooks or clay pots or grinding stones, but no. Mead said that the first sign of civilization in an ancient culture was a femur, thigh bone, that had been broken and then healed. Mead explained that in the animal kingdom, if you break a leg, you die. You cannot run from danger, get to the river for a drink, or hunt for food. You are meat for prowling beasts. No animal survives a broken leg long enough for it to heal. A broken femur that has healed is evidence that someone has taken the time to stay with the one who fell, has bound up the wound, has carried the person to safety, and has tended the person through recovery. Helping someone else through difficulty is where civilization starts, Mead said. We are at our best when we serve others. And I'm here to serve. I've learned a few things along the way in my 70 years, and I'm happy to share, and if I can give anything to anybody that helps them a little bit in their journey, I did some service. First, how many people are already whole food, plant-based, vegan? Okay. And how many people maybe are just in the first year of their journey? Okay, very good. And how many people here have heard of Dr. Greger? A few hands, okay. There is so much information out there, multiple sources of what to eat, what medical research says, and as I was preparing for this talk, I'm thinking, what can I bring to the table? What is different? Because I am nobody special, and when I talk about my family history, I came from way on the dark side all the way over to here. But I think what I bring to the table is I'm a fanatic for systems and protocols and procedures. I like to organize everything so it becomes a no-brainer. And so if I'm going to try to have the best nutrition, best health, best fitness, I'm going to try to create my environment in ways that make it easy for me or easy to do. Family history, well, you've heard, I have chronologically outlived my father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. Heart attacks going all the way down that side, obesity. I grew up, I'm born in '54, so grew up McDonald's and fast food and Pop-Tarts and all that stuff. And I remember, and I was always this little kind of, in grammar school, a little wimpy kid, even into high school. And I remember one time I was going to McDonald's every day for a milkshake because, oh yeah, I got to put on weight. Well, so I kind of had an epiphany when my first year of college, my college biology class. It's just like, whoa, how life works in the human body. And it just, that's when I kind of first exploded. And I thought to myself, it's like, man, I wanted to learn about fitness and everything else. Well, back then, everything fitness, nobody talked about nutrition. It was just, you lift some weights, and I'm reading Muscle and Fitness magazine and everything else. And that was kind of my 20s. But I had this thing where, like, man, people can do things that affect their lives. I joined the Marines, and you're training all the time, but same thing. And nobody's talking nutrition. You're just gutting things out and slamming weights around and training hard and stuff. In my 40s, I actually started to pay attention to nutrition. I'd see an article here or there, but I was still literally had 3 cans of tuna a day, meat, eggs. I can't believe how I used to eat. In my 50s, I started actually paying attention to research on nutrition. And kind of think toward the latter part of my 50s, I came across Gregor, and actually early 50s, Gregor, and I get his daily emails, I watch his videos, and I've taken so much from him. And so into my 60s, I'm solidly whole food plant-based. Now, people use terms kind of interchangeably, vegan and whole food plant-based. And I always caution people, potato chips, French fries, donuts, Coke, beer, it's vegan. There's no animal products. So I prefer the term whole food plant-based. And when I talk, I get a dry mouth. I'm going to talk about that jug later. So whole food plant-based. As I got into changing my lifestyle, and it's not just diet, and I hate the word diet. Diet is a 4-letter word, and I've always said, I do not want a diet, but I want to eat a lot, 1-2 plates of food. I want to have it be delicious, and as much as I want. And the only thing that I found I can do that with is a whole food plant-based diet. And that's all surrounding the concept of nutrient density or caloric density. There's more calories in a donut than a big bowl of salad. Well, what's going to do better for the body? As I reached my 70s, I kind of, it's not that I've stopped learning, but I come across articles and it's like, yeah, I already read that. I'm already doing that. I already read that. And so right now I'm kind of in the cruising phase. I'm just going to live to 125 and then maybe I'll skip all the good health stuff. I do have a habit of telling people that anybody at any age or any state of health or fitness can dramatically improve their health and fitness by taking responsibility for their nutrition and their physical well-being. And in the course of this talk, I'm going to have lists of things and stuff like that. You can take notes, but don't worry keeping up, because I will have some follow-up through Lynn. It'll be on a website or something like that. Another thing I like to say is if it comes from a box, a can, or a package, it's already suspect. Do all your shopping in the produce aisle. Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine. And I say, enjoy vibrant health and fitness. Let's see. So, what I bring to the table, besides all the information available, is I try to put things into a system that is a supportive environment. I was giving Lynn an example earlier in terms of snacks. I walk in my kitchen, if I feel like a snack, well, if there was donuts and cookies sitting around, which not in our household, but if they were, you want to grab that. I can open a cabinet and there is jars of dried fruit and nuts and everything. There are snacks. Right? I don't have to make a bad choice because I have a supportive environment of good choices. Some of the hacks, tips, and tricks. Organic pea soup. You can get this in the bulk section of any store. And all this is like flakes. I'm going to put this in the front afterward, and you can take a little scoop in your hand. It's dry, it's bland, but this is probably like the #1 slick trick. When you have a salad, it's nice to have croutons, except they're soaked in oil and butter and grease, whatever stuff. Pea soup chips, first, it's just peas. List of ingredients, dried peas. High protein, and it gives a crunch. So if I'm eating a salad, you know, I literally take a little scoop of pea soup chips and bite a salad, and it gives that nice mouth appeal. Real neat trick. It's going to sound odd. You're going to try it sometime and say, holy smokes, I've surprised people with this. Chips are crunchy. A banana is sweet. You take a bite of banana and a scoop of pea soup chips. All your mouth knows is sweet and crunchy. It's almost like eating a candy bar because it's just that mouth appeal. So I try to find things that I like but that are good. And how can I make things that I can repeat in there? A lot of times, I mean, I have like a little container of the chips, and if I had a busy morning, I got to run to an appointment or something like that, I grab my little container of pea soup chips, a couple of bananas, and I'm taking a bite of banana and scooping while I'm driving to my appointment or something. Real quick snack, and it's guilt-free. Banana, ingredients, banana. Pea soup chips, ingredients, peas. That's it. Let's see. When I met my lovely wife, and she is everything to me, and I wouldn't be or could do or be what I do if it wasn't for her cooking, and our like-mind mindset for health and fitness. When we met many years ago, she and I discovered after we met that we were both doing the same thing about, we'll call it a salad mix. And I used to chop up several different things, put it in like a big container, and then I scoop out some, and I have a salad. And so I put it in the fridge, lasts for a couple days or something like that. You know, by the third, fourth day, bottom's getting kind of funny. So together we started, she was doing that, and I was doing that. I said, oh, listen. So we experimented, and over like a 5-year process, we developed what we call a salad you could live on. And this is one of those lists where you're not going to take notes this fast. So I'm just going to read the list. Broccoli, kale, parsley, basil, cilantro, peas, frozen peas, bok choy, cauliflower, carrots, red pepper or yellow pepper or orange pepper, kidney beans, garbanzo beans, black beans, raisins, cranberries, hazelnuts, sunflower seeds, red cabbage, radishes, apple, almonds, and pumpkin seeds. Now, there's about 23 ingredients. We don't use every single ingredient every time, but the concept that I take a bunch of hearty vegetables, carrots and broccoli. This conspicuously absent is spinach and tomatoes, because our intention is I want to make up salads for the entire week. So on Sunday afternoons, we're chopping and dicing everything up into a big tub, splash it down liberally with lemon juice as a natural preservative, and then, you know those little Glad sandwich containers, the little square things, and snap the lid on? Well, we pack it into these containers. You put a whole pile on, pack it down, and then we have a stack of these containers in the fridge. I'm back when I'm working, I'm dashing someplace, and I don't want to have to be forced to have some fast food. I grab a container, put it in a lunch bag, put a little ice block on it, and at lunchtime, I have a fresh salad. And that mixed up with the lemon juice on it, sealed in these containers, it'll last easy for an entire week. So I can always grab a fresh salad. And this recipe and process, and like I say, it's not critical that every single one, the concept, the idea is you can have this whole mixed salad, you can have it last, and you can have it make it convenient. You don't have to be tempted because it's ready to go. That's one example of a whole bunch of things that are all good. Oh, and everything on that list is chosen for its nutritional profile. It's been mentioned in like one research article or another or several. These are this is real good to eat this, and bell peppers it's real high anti-inflammatory. So I read something. Oh, this is good for. Put it in there. Yeah, but like once again, not everything every time. But that's the idea. Is I can have a lot of a variety of nutrients in a convenient form that I don't have to change my habits. I'm not hungry. I got something ready to go. Another thing I worked on was a what I call a nutrient spice mix, and a lot of this comes from Dr. Greger and his research articles, and just other research articles. I subscribe to a number of different things, so I'm coming across medical research on various plants, foods, etc. And again, everything comes from the medical research. The nutrient spice mix. I'm gonna read through this. You don't have to copy it down, but soy protein powder, cocoa, turmeric, cinnamon, maca, ginkgo, amla, which is Indian gooseberry, ashwagandha, spirulina, chlorella, cumin and black cumin, astragalus, ginger root powder, fennel, rosemary, black pepper, nutritional yeast with B vitamin, clove, moringa powder, fresh ground black pepper, ground chia seed, taurine. Oh, okay, well, I'm going to stop there. All those spices, every one of these has come up in various research articles. Oh, this is really good for you. Turmeric is gosh, I mean, as far as it's a blood thinner. In India, they have a lot of use of turmeric, very low incidence of strokes. They're not getting blood clots because that's part of their diet. So I put together this whole powder mix, and what's funny is I did this years ago, and I keep embellishing over years. I read another article, something, oh, this is something, they just found this, whatever. And again, I don't use every single thing every time, but I do buy most of this stuff. I buy it bulk online, 2-pound pack or something like that, and I use like a little teaspoon or half teaspoon, scoop of each into a little cup, and then I can mix that into something. And there's actually nationally, but also locally, there's a local company that has a product. It's some kind of little nutrient pack. And I pick it up and I look at the ingredients, and it's like all the stuff on my list. I mean, they did exactly what I was doing. Then for making shakes, I came up with a veggie mix. And just a little general tip, your blender is your friend. And we have a Vitamix. That's kind of like the gold standard. There are a lot of good blenders out there, but for a veggie mix, and this is just kind of like a base mix. In the Vitamix, I'll put in kale, spinach, beet, banana, broccoli, ginger root, purple cabbage, lemon juice, some kind of berry, blueberry, strawberry, cranberry, and then New Naturals stevia. We in Eugene are blessed to have this company right here in town. New Naturals is the name of the company. They do various supplements, but they have one of the few stevias on the market that doesn't leave like a metal taste. There's a few brands out there. It's like, man, it's like you're biting into a metal bar or something. But New Naturals, they're on the west side of town. You can order online or whatever. But their stuff is in the stores too. But best stevia I found, lucky to be here. So what I'll do is I have this veggie mix, and I put all those things in the blender, and I use as little water as possible to still go through the grinding process. So I end up with this really thick half a gallon of this mixed veggies. And then I make up all those little spices, little spoon. I put it all into a cup, and I have a whole bunch of these cups. So I have the cup. So I want to make like a healthy shake. I want to be drinking on during the day or for a day or two. And so I take from my half gallon of the veggie mix, I put that into a container, put the cup with all the spice mix. Talk about nutrient dense. I mean, it's like everything you ever read about. And I might go through that in the course of a day or 2 days, and then when I have used that up, then I have the other half gallon left, and same thing, dump in my cup of all the nutrients, and again I have a veggie nutrient shake, and it's kind of stuff you can live on. Treats and desserts. I do have a sweet tooth, and I am by no means perfect in everything I eat, and every now and then I do eat junk, and whatever. But some things to satisfy. I want to be vegan, whole food, plant-based, but I want to have something like a treat. One dessert type treat: peanut butter, applesauce, and a whole grain bread. You get peanut butter, like Adam's list of ingredients, peanuts. That's it. Applesauce, and this is organic applesauce, list of ingredients, apples. And then whole grain bread, I kind of lean towards Dave's whole grain bread, and you can't beat it. I mean, I'm not going to speak to caloric content, so you put on a lot of peanut butter, there's more calories, but still, peanut, what are you eating? Apple, peanut, whole grains. And so that's kind of like a go-to dessert. My almost daily go-to dessert is frozen blueberries. We buy them by the 3-pound bags at Costco, and I mean, I got a whole bunch in the chest freezer. I mean, if I'm down to 2 or 3 bags of frozen blueberries, I mean, it's an emergency. But just a whole bowl of frozen blueberries, sprinkle on a little stevia. Oh man, it satisfies. I got something cold, like eating ice cream or a popsicle or whatever, and it has the flavor of the blueberries, the sweetness from the stevia. I mean, it's like, literally, there hardly a day goes by that I don't have this for my dessert at dinner, unless there's something else that we made or something like that. But I mean, that is a steady thing, and it's always a go-to. And then, well, as I said earlier, for snacks, we have like jars of dried apricots, raisins, cranberries, dates, prunes, goji berries. And then for nuts, we have jars of almonds, cashews, walnuts, peanuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and baru nuts. Again, everything, read about it somewhere sometime. It was promoted by medical science. And so those are our snacks. I decided to talk about the gallon jug. Well, they say you're supposed to, drink water, stay hydrated, everything else. And so over the years, I've experimented with water levels, and it's literally, you can drink a lot of water with that. I mean, I don't know how far I can go, but I drink about a gallon a day. At least that's the goal. Maybe 2/3, 3/4, whatever. But basically, I'm drinking this all day long. By the morning, 5:30 in the morning, I'm at the kitchen sink. I put in 7 drops of peppermint oil, essential oil, peppermint, and fill it from a pure filter. And this is, except for my beers on Friday night, this is basically all I drink for the last 25 years or something like that is just peppermint water. And it's tasty, it's refreshing on a hot day. It's just great. And I can keep track. Now, I've been drinking so much water the last few days with the heat wave and everything else that I actually had to refill this. But in general, if I fill this at 5:30 in the morning, I'm watching it all day long, and it's halfway through the day, I should be about halfway down. And so it's one way of keeping track, and just by a glance, it's like, hey, drink some more water. It's setting up a reminder feedback and stuff. And the whole idea between from all these different mixes and things and things I set up and everything, yeah, you got to go through the initial, either purchase everything, have everything, but once you have all this, it supports your environment. You get less tempted to make a mistake because everything's right there. You already prepared all this.
Mike, where do you keep your water during the day?
With me. I mean,
Wherever you are?
I go to work. I mean, when I used to go to work, and it's sitting next to my desk, and it's in my car, and I go on appointments, and I carry that wherever I go. All the way, it's on the nightstand at night, and by the morning, it should be empty.
How much peppermint oil in a gallon?
What's that?
How much peppermint oil in a gallon?
I put 5, 6, 7 drops, and you can do it to taste, and it's kind of like 5 to 7 drops. It does a good job with that. So that's in terms of nutrition. These are a lot of little systems or tips or tricks or hacks I put together to support what I want to. The end result is I want these nutrients in me. I want to make it easy, etc. And all of this, having good nutrients, has allowed me to be on my fitness journey. Here in town, a lot of people know me as Captain Crunch. 25 years ago, for many years, I would do 500 sit-ups a day. That's after I got out of the Marines in '78. 500 sit-ups a day. 500, and I learned from exercise physiology, sit-ups, traditional sit-ups are bad for your lower back, and they put a strain and everything else. And probably around 2000, I changed over to crunches. Doing 500 sit-ups a day, when I switched to crunches, I couldn't do like 17 or 18. It's like, oh my God. So again, I'm nobody special. I'm no Superman. Next day I did some more crunches. Then the next day I did crunches. Then the next day, and I built it up to the point where I was doing 500 crunches a day. Then I was doing 1,000 crunches a day, and I had this inspiration to do like a charity event. And so in 2009, and my birthday is February 2nd, Groundhog Day, which coincidentally is the same birthday my wife has, is February 2nd, Groundhog Day. We're both a couple of groundhogs. And we got on the wall in the kitchen a picture of 2 groundhogs hugging and kissing. Anyway, so in February of 2009 at Oakway Center in the plaza, I coordinated with the Oakway Center and a whole bunch of different businesses and supporters and everything else. And that was my very first crunch event. I said I was going to do 5,555 crunches to raise money for 5 nonprofits, and I work with 5 different local nonprofits. They each had their booth there. At the time, I'd never done that many, and even talking to my mom on the phone, she says, have you talked to a doctor? Are you going to be able to? I should be able to do this, But I did. I beat my expected time, and actually, along with the different vendors and people that were there at the time, the Marine Corps had a little, they were tabling there, and they had a pull-up bar. So after every 1,000 crunches, I jump off the stage, go over to pull-up bar, and I do pull-ups. And then back and do 1,000 crunches, pull-ups, and back and forth. So that was my first event. Since that February of '09, I've done over 100,000 crunches in various charity events, usually in amounts of 3,000, 5,000, 7,000.
So what exactly is a crunch?
I'm glad you asked that.
He's so glad you asked.
I'll demonstrate, and when we're done with the talk, then I'll do a few other things, but we're specifically on that. A crunch, well, now I'm just going to real quick. Your legs can be up, they can be up like that, but basically you are compressing, making the shortest distance between your sternum and your pelvis. And it's the abdominal muscle that is contracting, and by crunching it, you're getting it to its tightest point. So that's a crunch. When I do my crunches, I used to do just straight on for the longest time. Over the years, I try to increase the difficulty, so I do my 1,000 crunches is 10 sets of 100. Each one, so I do straight on, then I do half twist, that's 3. Then I do, I flip over and do like a back crunch, and then a side crunch, and then to the other side, a back crunch and a side crunch, and then I think that's up to 7, and then feet up to the air for 100, and then let's see. Oh, and then I spin around, and I'm doing a crunch like a body scissor, and I do it focusing on the back parts there, and then I do it on the side, and there, and then, and fit, and
balances out all the muscles. So it's a balance.
well, and what I found, just doing the crunches is a real kind of full body physical thing. Now, nobody's gonna go home today and knock off a thought, but I bet you anybody could try one, even a baby crunch, and the next day maybe a couple baby crunches. The thing is, and whether it's nutrition or exercise, it's consistency. Do a little bit, but then do a little bit tomorrow, and do a little bit the next day, and the next day. The most recent development in my training is stretching. For years, I could about do that because I was a bodybuilder. You know, I'm stiff, and I keep reading articles. You should stretch. You should stretch. You need to be flexible. Everything else. So, okay, so I started trying to touch my toes, and little by little, got a little further. Now I'm pretty much, I can put my hands flat on the floor, keep my legs straight. That's one stretch. With the overhead bar, I hang in the gym. Now they make exercise things like bars, a pull-up bar you can put like in a doorway or something like that. But just the idea of hanging, it just feels so good. I mean, you just, well, all this, and again, there's nothing special about me, and when I first tried to do my first touch toes, I just got past my knees. Well, but over a year of trying a little more and more, I got more and more. To the point where some of the stretches I do, I came up with what they call a bar bet. And that's a bet, you're going to win because you got a secret or a trick or something like that. So I tell people, and I've done this a few times, but for charity, and then I donate the money. So I'll bet you $100 that I can stand here, feet flat, legs straight. I'm going to cross my arms. I'm going to lean forward at the waist. I'm going to touch my elbows to the ground. Now that's a little more than touching toes. And so oh yeah, sure, yeah. Okay, well, okay, we got the bet. Good. And people will say, oh, well, there's a trick to it. I say, okay, well then you do this trick. Now, I wasn't born this way, and I couldn't do this 2 years ago. No way, no way. And it's just, for the last couple of years, I'm going to focus more on stretching. And even the evolution of my training in the gym, years ago, it was just all free weights, slamming stuff around. And then I started using machines and getting, more focusing on every different muscle group and stuff. But still, it's just exercise. And then I started, after an exercise, I get down with something, then I'll do a stretch. And I go do something else, and I do a stretch. And I do something else, I stretch after, to the point now where 50% of the time that I'm exercising is I'm doing stretching. I go over to one machine, do that, and I do some stretches. And whether it's legs, arms, whatever, I'm trying to stretch everything.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What amount of time per day do you spend with your exercise and stretching?
If I have the time, I like to spend 2 hours in the gym. Now, I'm not working. I'm retired now. When I was working, I probably, I try different times of the day, but often in the morning. So I go to the gym before work. I'm in the gym for an hour, hour and a half, something like that, in and out. I always kept thinking to myself, okay, how do I wait till I retire? Because I could just, to me, gym is like Disneyland. But, and people are like, oh God, I get tired just seeing what you're doing. How to put it? Exercise is something that does grow on you. And if you go to the gym one time, try a whole bunch of things, the next day you wake up sore and like, I'm never going back there again. Moderation, moderation. Take your time. Very slowly. But you can incorporate little things every day. I'm not working for a company, but I'm working for me. I got a home office, multiple screens. I'm sitting at my desk all day, and it's like after 40 minutes, like I get up, I do squats. I'll do like 10, 20 squats. Now, when I started focusing on squats, after about 6, I was getting kind of sore. And it's like, man, and I could only go like so far down. Well, I'm almost sitting down on the floor, and I kind of just keep going. I can do 20 or 30 at a time. And like I say, literally, when I started, rep number 5, rep number 6, it's getting sore, and I'm hurt. So, I take little breaks from, if I'm doing something sedentary, I take a break for 10 minutes. Since my home office is at home, I'm doing something, I'm working, and like take a break, and I'll do something around the house. Or my wife would like me to go move something on the lawn or something like that. So, I talked about nutrition and ways that you can incorporate more nutrition into your system. Talked a little bit about exercise, and it basically goes back to the old saying, move it or lose it. Just keep moving, keep doing something. Doing something is better than nothing. And with my example, you go to the gym one time and it's like, oh, I'm never going, I'm all sore. Little by little by little, as you progress, it starts to kind of feel good. I mean, actually, I don't feel good if I miss the gym. If I go a day or 2 days without going to the gym, it's like, because it just perks you up, it gets endorphins going and everything else. But you can't start like that. Little bit, progressively building up.
Just walking around the house count?
Walking around the house counts. Up and down the stairs, and yep. Now, so I've put together all these systems around fitness and around nutrition, and think, boy, I got this nailed. And then I came across this book, Growing Young, by Marta Zaraska. And she is a research writer. She doesn't do the doctor research herself, but she culls articles and articles and puts together a book in this case. And the whole point of this book, it talks about nutrition and fitness and this and that, but it points to even stronger factors for health and longevity. And I'm going to just kind of give like a rough example, give an idea. Let's say if you eat, these 10 vegetables every day, it increases your or decreases your mortality by 25%. Wonderful. But then she'll contrast that with, but if you are in a loving, committed relationship, it's 30, 40, 50% of reducing your mortality risk. And throughout this book, there's 3 pillars to longevity. And that's nutrition and fitness and connectivity. Having a circle of friends, having a committed relationship, giving back, altruism. Oh my gosh. Doctors should be prescribing that. Go out and help somebody. Do something nice for somebody. It makes your heart feel good, your euphemistic heart, but it's also good for your heart and your body, your physiology and everything else. And so this is a really neat book in that she covers every kind of, nutrient and this thing and that thing and everything. But contrasting and showing there are some things that are even better. Not to exclude one another, but to do it all. So your 3 pillars: nutrition, fitness, and connectivity with your fellow humans, with your community, giving back, and altruism. I think that's most of my talk.
Where does sleep fall into all of that? How essential is
I
that?
love sleep. Again, everything is evolution. I used to be pretty much 8 hours a night, even when I'm working, because sleep is a priority. You have to rest your body. And I found that I have a tendency to overtrain. So when I talk about going to the gym, I've changed to only 4 alternate days to the gym, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, or Friday or Saturday or Sunday, 4 times to the gym. On opposite days, I go hiking. I hike on Mount Pisgah. Well, actually, I hike on Mount Pisgah with 30 pounds, which is, I only weigh like 139. So it's like 20% of my body weight, and I go up and down for 45 minutes. I didn't start that way. The first time I went, I didn't have any weight, and I went up and I went down, and it was hard, and then my legs were sore. It's like little by little, but I do it over and over and over and over. So back to sleep is, I've changed that to where I actually try to get 9 hours. It just, and I used to have the hardest time to go to bed. Oh, I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna do one more email, one more this, later, and my lovely wife, she's boom, 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 and right to bed, and she's reading stuff. And I've evolved to where it's like, it's actually nice to be heading back toward the bedroom about 8:15, 8:30, and we got this thing. This is our thing. We read a book together by her reading out loud. Now, she doesn't start with like Once Upon a Time, but we're laying there and she reads out loud, and every now and then she goes, "Are you asleep? Your eyes are closed." But I do make a point, about 9 hours. Recovery, recovery, recovery. If you're just sore, and when I was going to the gym 5 days a week in a row, I was overtraining and I was just in a constant state of soreness. And I found that this alternating thing, this works great. The hiking with weight is great for legs, it's great for endurance, a number of effects there. In the gym, great for toning all your muscles and all your stretching and everything else.
Are you ever so tired you need to sleep during the day? Take a nap?
Now, years ago I used to, like on my lunch hour, I would shoot home, eat real fast, like in 10 minutes, and I'd nod off for like 30 or so. The days of taking a nap, I don't know if it's, I just fell out of the habit, or I am a coffee drinker. And so I get up in the morning, you know, first thing I have a coffee, or a green tea, which is actually, some people say better, whatever, but green tea or coffee, but I do make use of caffeine. More questions?
I had another
Yes.
question on your salads. Do you put any dressing or dressing type on the salad?
Well, she created a dressing. We use a little bit of like olive oil or avocado oil, and a little bit of apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, Mrs. Dash seasoning, a little bit of hot sauce, some soy sauce or Bragg's, sometimes a little bit of honey, but it's kind of, you know, it's a homemade salad dressing, and yeah, when we pop the container open, I might scoop half the container out still, that's going to fill a bowl, or just use the whole thing, but drizzle that on, yes.
Because we take a little bit of OJ and put some mustard in it and some balsamic vinegar.
Yep.
And I don't know what else I put in, but then pour it over the top.
Yeah.
And just to get away from the heavy oil laden.
Yeah, we haven't purchased store-bought dressing like in a million years. Yeah, we make our own dressing.
The whole top of the bottle is all oil, all the oil goes
Yeah.
to the top. You see how much? I was going to ask you,
Yes.
where do you put most of your calories?
What's that?
Most of your calories. When do you eat? You put the calories early? Do you eat at night?
I read all the articles, and Gregor's had these things, you know, time of day and amount of calorie, and that's one where the jury is still out, and so I'm just gonna, my instincts, in the morning, first thing I have that shake that's already made. It's thick veggies and all the nutrient spices and everything else, and so I have that. 1, 2, 3, 4 heaping tablespoons of ground flaxseed. 1, 2 heaping tablespoons of wheat germ, and organic flaxseed, organic wheat germ. No, I take a sip and I have a tablespoon of, you know, so 4 tablespoons of flaxseed, 2 tablespoons of wheat germ. Let's see, I have a banana with a little bit of peanut butter. I'm looking here. Sometimes I'll take a little chunk of ginger root, chew that up, a little squirt of honey. But kind of, it's sort of light first thing in the morning, enough to, like, I'm not hungry, and then I head off to the gym. Lunchtime, and lunch could be 12, 1 or 2, something like that, and maybe a little bit more than breakfast. I might have literally like the salad that we made, or I might have half of a bell pepper. Orange bell peppers are like candy. I just love them. And so half a bell pepper, some spinach, something with tofu. I might just take a slab of tofu, nuke it, put a little hot sauce on it, and I just eat it. I mean, you know, some of my eating is actually utilitarian. Like, okay, I want to get this in, okay, I put hot sauce on it and I eat it. But dinner is the big one. Yeah, and I don't know whether it's good or bad or what, but I like eating a big dinner. And I mean a tray full of plates and everything else. Then I get all done with the dinner, and then dessert. A dish of, like right now, watermelon, some grapes, cherries, a banana. I have several bananas a day, but I mean, dinner time, that's my big meal, and that's like around 6 o'clock. Around 6 o'clock.
And you go to bed at 8:30?
Yeah.
He eats for 2 hours straight.
My wife said he eats for 2 hours straight, which is, yeah, I just keep kind of munching away.
So do most of your calories come from like the nuts and the snacks that you eat, or is it a combination of your dinner and those other snacks?
It's probably the bulk of my calories is dinner time. So breakfast is kind of light. Lunch might or might not have it, but you know, it's kind of medium. Dinner is the most. And even though we have jars of all these different nuts and dried fruits and everything else, I'm not constant. But if I want a snack, if I'm at this point where a day was different one way or another, it's like, I want some kind of snack, then I have that go-to. But it's not, let's say, my regime in the morning with flaxseed and wheat germ. That's every morning. I always start with that, and that's on Gregor's list and stuff. But as far as snacking and the fruit and nuts and stuff like that, yeah, a little here. I think of it. You know, I'm reaching in the freezer for the big tub of ground flaxseed, and right next to it is a jar of walnuts. Yeah, throw a few in my mouth and go about my way. It's like I don't have to be real conscious counting every calorie, because I can have a little of this, but everything I'm reaching for is all good stuff. And I know I'm not going to sit down and eat a bowl full of nuts, because that's probably 1,000 calories.
So speaking of Dr. Gregor, do you have a book that you would recommend that he
Well, we have both his books, How Not to Diet and the longevity one. He has two books. Yeah, one on aging, and then the books are great, but they're like encyclopedias. It is literally like reading the encyclopedia. And what I enjoy much more, and it's just human nature, I mean, watching videos. You know, he puts together, and they're well curated. They pull from all these different research articles, everything else, and it's just like a 3-minute, 5-minute video, and I just learned something on this topic of this particular thing. And it's no cost to subscribe, and so you get like 3 emails a week. 1 is a blog, 2 are videos, something like that. And it's just little by little by little. Now looking back over 20 years, I must have watched 1,000 videos. I've learned a lot.
What was the author of that book?
Author of the book Growing Young is Marta, M-A-R-T-A, Zaraska, Z-A-R-A-S-K-A, Zaraska, all A's. Well, I think we did it.
You did. Thank you very much, Mike. A small thank you.
Oh, sure.